Hello everybody, my name is Michael and welcome back to the house in Fata Morgana. Hey Loliot! We are here today to play more of door number 4. I am looking very forward to seeing how this tragedy plays out because I know the white-haired girl and Michelle are going to touch at some point and the white-haired girl is going to die. I just know that's going to happen because knowing the tragedies and the way that they're presented in this story... it will eventually happen. Like, there's no happy ending in this game at all. And I don't think this is the last door. I think the man is lying to us. But the only way to find out is by playing. So let's get right to it. And that marked the true beginning of their quiet days together in the dark mansion. They acknowledged and accepted each other's presence, no longer isolating themselves, but actively, regularly conversing. As mundane as it might seem, it was something they had been unable to attain until then. Nevertheless, they were still somewhat fumbling around in the dark with one another, drawing closer and pushing away again. Happy ending. There's no happy ending. It's House in Fata Morgana. Well, yeah, there's just going to be no happy ending. Michelle, in his own ungraceful way, was beginning to open himself up to the things she said. And the white-haired girl was beginning to smile with greater frequency. They had taken to dining together, and her wish of learning to read was being granted. Oh, that's nice. He taught her in the feeble light of a candle placed upon the table, the two sitting across from one another. Though Michelle seemed to be well educated. Wow, I got goosebumps as soon as I heard the vocals of the song. He had not been instructed in the art of teaching, so he found the process quite grueling. But to the white-haired girl, the longer it took, the better. Her primary objective was, after all, to spend time with him. The days passed, and eventually, she reached the point where her comprehension was adequate enough without assistance. Her next request, then, was for them to read through a book together. Have you read every book in the library? No. I stopped looking at them after a while. Most everything I'm sent is dull, uninformed dreck. The Diary of a Lord, foolish make-believe tales. You are not a fan of fiction, I take it. What value is there in the lies and fantasy of another? Stories can be invigorating. Tales of adventure can take you places you can never go. Legends of heroes, folklore, stories of the otherworldly phenomena. They can be terrifying, and they can be exhilarating. They may not be real, but they give you a glimpse into the author's heart, let you feel like you're seeing the same thing they saw. Are they defending why fantasy stories like House of Fata Morgana should exist? Sorry, I just thought about that when I was reading. You are a very empathetic girl. Fiction inspires nothing of the sort in me. I don't think Michelle would like House in Fata Morgana. However... Perhaps long ago, it may have been able to, though I can no longer remember what it feels like. I'm sure I'll come back to you. You're not an empty man. Sorry. I'm making you uncomfortable again. How about we read this book today? It appears to be a collection of legends. You haven't read this one yet, then? Are they gonna read King Midas's Curse? I don't know why, but that feels like that would be something that would come up in this book. Because this is like 1099, right? The Tale of King Midas has been around for a while. So, it will make sense that they might see King Midas's curse in the Legends book. You haven't read this one yet, then? And King Midas really does connect with Michelle's story here. That's good to hear. It'll be more enjoyable if it's a new experience for the both of us. It looks like it's a record of local legends? If it's local legends, it's probably not going to be King Midas's curse, because I'm assuming... Well, I don't know which part of Europe we're in right now. We could be in Western Europe, but if we're in Eastern Europe, it will be more likely that we will see King Midas's curse in the book. I think the only way to find out is by reading. The book is divided into several sections, though it appears to be mostly superstitions. I am curious what kind of stories this area has. The two of them were looking down at a simple, undecorated volume. My lunch break is at 6 p.m. in 1 hour, because I thought you were going to stream in 1 hour. My bad, Lolliet. Ads, yeah. My bad about that one, Lolliet. The reason why I'm an hour early is mainly because... this is actually pretty funny. I just have stuff at like 1 p.m. So if I streamed at my normal time, I would literally go right into my plan at 1 p.m. So that's why I'm streaming a bit early. The two of them looking down at a simple, undecorated volume. As the white-haired girl had said, it seemed to be a collection of local legends passed down generation to generation. They sat across from one another at the table, her turning the pages and Michelle simply watching so as to not brush against her. I just wanted to fully watch live. Oh no, it's all good. Yeah, no, I just thought to explain why I'm a bit early today. It's I guess this is like a once in a while thing that may happen sometimes where I have to move around the stream time due to conflicting plans. But yeah, no, it was like very short notice since I think I announced my streams like last night. Well, 2 nights ago basically, so it was like very short notice. Eventually, her eyes were drawn to a particular word on one of the pages, bringing her hands to a stop. The witch. That chapter detailed the story of a witch, or more precisely, said witch's curse. Ooh, okay. The story went something like this. Let's hear the story of the witch. Oh, that's the title theme. That's the title theme, isn't it? There once was a witch, skilled in the dark arts. She lived in a meager but peaceful life along the other villagers. But then, a long drought struck the village, which the people blamed on the witch. The witch was sentenced to death, and as the fire blazed around her, smoke rose high into the air. The smoke soon became rain clouds, blessing the village with an end to the drought. The crops were revitalized, and the villagers fancied themselves heroes. However, the rain also brought madness upon the people. Though the earth below them was lush and fertile, the villagers were losing their minds, and they eventually began to take each other's lives. The witch still lived on, in the form of a curse. Many fell victim to the witch's curse, though it did not only take, it also fulfilled people's desires. The villagers had gone mad, but their wish for freedom from the drought had been granted. Thus, the legend has been passed down as follows. The witch will grant your wish in exchange for great sacrifice. As smoke in the sky, she watches down upon us from above. To reach the witch, climb for the heavens, but know that road is a road to destruction. I wonder if this could connect to the owners of the house in the previous 3 doors. For all 3 of the owners, They all had wishes that they wanted to be desired. However, tragedy befell all of them. Hakapo, Yukimasa, and I believe the owner of the house in door 1 was Mel, or Mel's father. Door 1's a little bit of the shakiest one to me, mainly because I guess I can't really think of Mel's motivation or Mel's, wish. Like, was it his wish that the house was trying to grant, or Nellie's? Yukimasa was very straightforward because he wanted peace, but also he wanted more dead. Like, he wanted more, people for him to kill. In the end, his tragedy struck is when he killed Pauline, who was his beloved before he got shipwrecked. And his other tragedy was the villagers killed the white-haired girl because she was staying with the beast. Meanwhile, Hakapo, he wanted to, surpass everyone in financials in the new world. He wanted to be, very rich and not poor. He wanted to revitalize the Berzarati family. However, in the end, his wife left him, and he had to kill his childhood best friend. Meanwhile, in door 1, I feel like Mel wanted to be with the white-haired girl, but Nellie wanted to be with him, which led to the tragedy where Nellie shaved the white-haired girl and tried, being with Mel by pretending to be the white-haired girl. Deep. Yeah, it is deep. But yeah, no, like, for door 1, that's like the hardest one to connect to my theory right now, that the witch is technically granting all the, hosts of the house's wishes, but they all befalls tragedy. And Hakapo and Yukimasa's tragedies are very clear, and their goals are very clear. Meanwhile, the Rhodes family is a little less clear, because I'm not for sure if the owner of the house is considered to be Mel, Nellie, or their parents. I would assume they're parents on paper, but we got the storyline of Mel, and oh my god, I'm already losing my voice. It's only been like 15 minutes, oh my god. Alright, let's get a little bit of water in me, and then I'll continue reading. Ooh. Yeah, I think I feel like I'm getting a little sick already. This might not be related to me reading, I might actually just be a little sick. People still believe the witch's legend, even now, I suppose. Drink hot water. Good point. Good point. I think, yeah, I'll boil some water after stream. And that's why I face accusations of being a witch. This is not an area very welcoming to outsiders, especially one who stands out as much as you. What brought you to this region in the first place? Mine is a story I'm sure you heard before. I was cast out of my house. I come from a very poor family. We could barely even afford to keep everyone fed. Being as weak as I am, it was only natural that I would be the first to go. I see. What I don't understand, though, is why the witch is said to grant people's wishes. That is to say, she had enough reason to hold a grudge, but not to give people things they ask for. All we have to go on is a few pages. There is no saying what might have been changed or added over time. It is almost certain the entire legend isn't written here. That said, if we were to accept everything as written, you can infer that what the witch's reason might have been. And that is, if you truly want it that much, you can have it. But I'll make certain your suffering outweighs it. Despair that comes after a moment of happiness is far more agonizing than despair alone. This really ties into Yukimasa and Hakapo. This really fits in with them. Yukimasa was enjoying his quiet life with the white-haired girl in door 2 until Pauline showed up. Meanwhile, Hakapo enjoyed the, I guess, sort of honeymoon he had with the white-haired girl after they married and went to the new world. That makes a lot of sense with their storylines. I still am struggling with the Rhodes family here, though. Like, was there happiness, was, you know, the two siblings growing up together in the mansion, like, you know, as kids? Because there was a lot of references to them as, you know, little kids reading stories outside. Ah, man. Door 1 is really hard to fit into this theory right now, but I can see some semblances of it. Meanwhile, Yukimasa and Hakupo, really easy to tie into this. I presume that is why the witch decided to grant people's wishes. That is one way to look at it. May I ask you something? Go on. When I first arrived here, you told me that a cursed witch used to live in this mansion. After reading this legend, I'm now finding it hard to believe you made that up simply to scare me away. I appropriated the tale. Nothing more. Cursed mansion. Yeah. Maybe the mansion is just one big witch cloud in the visage of a mansion. Because if we think about the Fata Morgana is basically a fog of illusions. Winds up the mansion is part of that fog of illusions. I think that's the whole point of the name of the game, the house in Fata Morgana. I think I'm literally just describing what the game is about, or, you know, the base idea behind the name of the game. If you know Arthurian legend. It is said the witch was born in this house. Well, quite the place my family found for me. But it was a clever decision putting me here, I think. Not many people are likely to come near a house with such a pedigree. But no, never mind. That makes sense. I suspect I know what she was going to say then. If the witch is said to grant wishes, then wouldn't that also attract people who so desperately want something? They do not care what price they must pay. White-haired girl wanted a place to stay. I wonder if this is connected to the white-haired girl. Like, is that her desire, a place to stay? Because I don't know what Michelle's desire truly is right now. Like, maybe a companion? But the white-haired girl wanted a place for refuge, and she didn't want to be alone. Her wish is being granted. However, something's gonna outweigh her wish now. And I think the outweighing factor of her wish is she's gonna accidentally touch Michelle, or Michelle's gonna accidentally touch her. What is this emoticon you just sent? Smart, think about it. Grim. Grimps? Or Grim SP4? Smart, think about it. Okay. So I am catching on to something by thinking about Arthurian legend. And perhaps she was correct. Perhaps there had been those who had come to the mansion chasing after the legend. And perhaps they have encountered Michelle, touched him, and lost their lives. On that day in the garden, he had said, "Many things are buried here." Perhaps that included such visitors. I wonder if that story might be more than mere superstition. If the Witch of Legend really did exist, what would you do? It might be nice to talk to her, maybe. That's all? Really? I feel a little bad for her, though. The only people who ever visit her are there to ask for something, after all. I can only imagine just how lonely that must be. I swear, I cannot comprehend the way your mind works. Sorry. Although, if we assume the legend is true, I have an idea what climb for the heavens might mean. Oh? The mansion has an observation tower. Oh, going to the observation tower. Wait, is that why the door is at the top of the observation tower? I think the story is going to bring us to the observation tower. Or, I suppose, what used to be an observation tower. At any rate, it is quite a tall structure. This is the house where the witch was supposedly born. A tower reaching for the heavens seems like the perfect place to find her, if she really is here. Oh yes. I remember seeing a rather tall structure as I first approached the mansion. Would you like to see it? Of course. Please, lead the way. Why do I feel like something bad is going to happen at this observation tower? The two of them left the library and made their way to the room with the stained glass window. At the far end of that room were the stairs to the observation tower. The tale of the witch had piqued the white-haired girl's interest, inspiring her to put herself forward to satisfy that curiosity. She had, after all, been accused of being a witch herself, so she undoubtedly felt an affinity to the legend. Oh my god, I just had an epiphany. Everyone that has a character sprite all wanted something, and they were drawn to the mansion and only got tragedy upon getting what they wanted. Every single sprited character this happened to. Oh my god, I just realized that. Every character actually had, a wish. It did technically get granted, including the white-haired girl on all the doors. All of them had a wish granted. Oh my god. I feel like I should pause for a second and just explain what I mean by this one. Yeah, so let me go over all the sprited characters and explain why each of them, technically got what they wanted, but also, did not. They all got, the witch's curse hitting them. So first but not least, Mel. He wanted to be with the white-haired girl. He started dating her, but then Nellie shaved her head and pretended to be the white-haired girl by putting on the white-haired girl wig, which led to the fall of the family. However, that goes into the white-haired girl and Nellie's witch. The white-haired girl wanted the Rhodes family to fall after they ostracated her father to the point where he was poor and impoverished because of a bad painting he made. She wanted the Rhodes family to, fall. She almost killed Mel, but she chose not to in the end because Mel was kind to her. And, at the end, she got shaved and the family did technically fall, but at the cost of, she literally had to see the downfall of someone that was actually kind to her. Nellie wanted to be with Mel in an incestuous relationship, and she got what she wanted when they were kids. However, as she got older, Mel was not into the incest and he fell in love with another woman, which led to her to lose her mind, but she relished in the fact that Mel himself was getting himself into an incestuous relationship with the white-haired girl, because the white-haired girl was basically his half-sister. Moving over to door number 2, Yukimasa wanted to kill. He got a lot of people to kill in the mansion after he got shipwrecked. However, he realized he was still feeling empty and he just wanted more. He was thinking, I want peace. The white-haired girl was brought to him. He got the peace he wanted. However, it didn't last long because Pauline came. Pauline wanted to find Yukimasa. She found Yukimasa in the mansion, but he couldn't remember who she was or what she was due to amnesia. And due to his amnesia, or his lack of wanting to, face his sins, she was killed by him because he saw her as a beast. Meanwhile, the white-haired girl, the blind white-haired girl in this chapter, she just wanted somewhere to stay, and she got somewhere to stay. But she had to stay with a fucking sociopath like Yukimasa. I'm gonna say my weakest argument on this theory is the blind white-haired girl from door 2. Like, I can't really remember too much of her goals outside of the fact that she wanted the place to stay, and of course she did find one, and she literally stayed with a sociopath. But yeah, moving on from there, door number 3, Hakupo. He wanted riches. He wanted to, be at the top. He didn't want to be poor. He wanted to, prove that he's a Berzarati. A Berzarati that is successful. He got a success at the cost of his wife leaving him and Full Metal Alchemist if it was unfair. Okay, before I lose my train of thought, that was a good one. That was a good one. But moving back to what I was saying. Okay. Hakupo had to basically lose his wife, and he had to kill his childhood friend in the end. He didn't get what he was wanting, but he got what he wanted. He wanted love, but he couldn't get it because he wanted riches, and the house fulfilled his wish of riches. But he was alone at the end. Like, if we notice, at the end of each chapter, all of them are, impoverished, like Mel, potentially dead, like Yukimasa. However, Hakupo is still alive, but he has a fate that was worse than the death or poverty that the other two got. He got everything that he wanted, but he still felt empty because what he truly wanted, he can no longer have. Meanwhile, let's move on to the other two major characters in door number 3. The white-haired girl in that door, she just wanted communication with her husband. She got some communication, but it was being altered by Maria. Maria was blocking all communication between the white-haired girl and her husband. So she was going to get the attention of her husband, but it was intercepted by Maria. And before Hakupo could talk with her, Maria told the white-haired girl the wrong date for the railroad spike, getting put into the ground. So she left Hakupo. And last but not least, Maria wanted revenge on the Berzeratis, and through the divorce between Hakupo and his wife, she got what she wanted. Hakupo is mentally destroyed by his wife leaving him. However, in the end, she could not make the Berzeratis fall fully. She broke Hakupo's mind by making his wife leave him, and that he had no love in his life anymore. However, Maria still was not able to take down the entirety of the Berzerati family because they live on with a broken shell of Hakupo after killing her. That's kind of where I am with this theory right now. So basically, the house in Fata Morgana fulfills this witch's curse that Michelle and the white-haired girl are reading about here. Everything is kind of coming together. I feel like we're at the midpoint of this game now, where the first 3 chapters build up the mystery, and now we have all the clues to find the answers to what's going on here. We have the clues, and now we're getting to, we need to figure out the answer, as the answer is revealing itself. Inherently, this is a mystery game, and the previous 3 doors, including this one now, I guess this door is also a mystery chapter. However, we are getting all the clues that we need to solve the mystery of this strange mansion. And I'm gonna put on my cardigan real quick because I'm a little cold. But yeah, no, this is really interesting. This is super intriguing. Oh god, this cardigan's so comfortable. I need to remind myself of what the artist's name who made this cardigan was, because this is really comfortable, and I like the design. I really like the design. Hold on, let me get the full camera out real quick. Yeah, I really like the design of this. Even though it says Ultimate Lover, I don't play a lot of Ultimate games. Yeah, it says Ultimate Lover on the back. I mean, in the future, I could play Ultimate games, and I could just wear this whenever I play them. Alright. Yeah, let's go ahead and get back to the game. I'm not gonna button it up, though, since that'll take a little bit too much time. Yeah, it would take a little bit too much time. Plus, also, it is, like, the middle of summer, or, almost summer at where I live. So it's gonna get really hot very quickly. It's just that it's been raining really hard recently, so the temperature dropped to, like, 20 degrees. Or, I guess, also maybe 10 degrees Celsius, because I know Fahrenheit and Celsius are very different in scale. Before I go into the details, I'm gonna get back to the game. She had, after all, been accused of being a witch herself, so she undoubtedly felt an affinity to the legend. What a sweet girl she was. We're going up the stairs. Oh boy, I'm excited. With Michelle in the lead, the two climbed a long spiral staircase. There were many more stairs than the white-haired girl had anticipated, and she soon found herself short of breath. Rectangular windows were carved out of the stone in regular intervals. Peering through one of them, she could see a village in the distance. A pleasantly cool, high-altitude breeze brushed across her face. After much climbing, they finally arrived at the top, where a door made of partially rotted wood stood. That doesn't seem that rotted from the photo. Michelle pulled open the door, revealing a small room with no windows or doors in sight. Is this is the top of the tower? Also, I noticed it kind of looks like a broken prison cell right here, because those are like prison bars, and they're they're literally like, you know, pulled open. Huh. Think about it, Michael. Think about it. Oh no, I'm getting Omni-Man by Loliet. I'm getting Omni-Man. Despite it being called a observation tower, you could hardly observe anything from there. Her face contorted in confusion, the white-haired girl threw her gaze about the room. Glancing up, she only saw a darkened ceiling. I wonder if this is where they hid the witch. And, slightly below it, a single small window. I was literally reading small before single. A single small window through which shone a little ray of light. The beam cleaved through the darkness like the sharpened blade of a beautiful sword. The darkness draped over the rest of the room only served to make more impressive that solitary ray of light. It had a magical, fairy tale quality to it. As if being pulled in by it, she drew toward the light. I suspect there was once a large window in this room. If you look closely, you can see seams in the stone of the wall. The color of the stone differs slightly on either side of the seams. I presume something caused them to seal off the window after it was built, though I don't know what that something might be. Oh? Why are you trailing off? Oh, hi! Okay, you're close. When Michelle's eyes fell upon the white-haired girl wrapped in that beam of light, he sputtered to a stop. Is he enamored by her? The man who never flinched at anything, who had long since distanced himself from such stirrings of the heart, was utterly bewitched. He had never seen her illuminated so vividly before, and he was having a great deal of trouble finding the words to describe her striking beauty. For someone who had been chased out of her home and accused of being a witch, the white-haired girl looked less like a practitioner of the dark arts, and more like one of the hosts of heaven. Michelle undoubtedly felt the same way, for his gaze was affixed firmly upon her. Nope. Dazzling, isn't it? Like a staircase leading to heaven. Yes. Perhaps so. Is something the matter? No. I'm fine. You could be really smooth right here, Michelle. You could be really smooth. You know? It feels like something's odd in the air here. It feels like someone actually might be listening. If the witch were to speak to you, what would you say to her? I would ask her to tell me her true feelings, and tell me what kind of person she was, and what kind of pain she had to endure. I just want to know what she felt. This woman people branded a witch. The legend was written from a neutral perspective. Ads. Ah, we got ad. Oh no, we got ads. I do have to say, this is probably some of the best rendering of the white-haired girl I've seen so far in this game. Yeah, during the ad break, I'm just gonna, you know, comment on how beautiful the art is here. Oh my fucking god, look at the irises! Holy shit, that's a lot of details on the iris. Yeah, they did a lot of great work with the art style of this game. Like, it's really beautiful and unique. Like, it is basically watercolor paintings coming to life in a visual novel. I wish... Oh, you're back? Okay. Yeah, I wish more visual novels went to, you know, have styles like this. Like, especially, you know, visual novels that get popular on Steam, because I feel like there's not a lot of games like House and Fata Morgana in artistic style. Like, I don't know, like, maybe this just is my perspective as someone who studies visual novels, but a lot of visual novels have very similar art styles, and a lot of them are more of mainstream anime styles. Meanwhile, beautiful games like this, like House and Fata Morgana, I just don't know if I see a lot of these, and I want to see more, because I like seeing, you know, different art forms to make beautiful work, because it's great writing with beautiful artwork, with haunting music. This is all set up to be a really good game. I just don't understand why there's not more things like this. What was that? What was that? What was... Oh, redeem stretch. Okay, yeah. Alright, yep. I'll stretch. Oh, there was a back pop. Oh. Oh. Yep. Gotta fulfill the subscriber goal. Well, not subscriber goal, the bits reward? I think the stretch was needed. Haha, yeah. Yeah, I will say that today I have definitely been a bit more groggy. But yeah, no, I feel like mucus buildup in the back of my nose, so I definitely know I'm getting some sort of infection. But despite having a potential sinus infection, the show will go on. And after the stream, I'll boil some water to get some hot water in my system. The legend was written from a neutral perspective. It's possible she was a fearsome witch. It's also possible she wasn't. A cat box. I get the feeling she was persecuted, like me. Like me and you. Unlike you, I truly am pure. Disagree all you want, but my touch kills. I'm a strange, incomprehensible, irrational creature. Or maybe I'm not even a living being. And that's why when I touch something that is, I bring them death. If only I actually were a witch. If only I actually had some kind of extraordinary power. Regardless of whether it came from God or the devil. Then I would be able to grant people's wishes. My wish need not be granted. But it's what I want too. I wish to be able to touch you. I would be perfectly content with nothing changing, with us never being able to touch one another. I would be more than happy with that. But I'm allowed to dream, aren't I? It doesn't have to be in this life. It doesn't have to be in this life is an insane comment. I pray the day will come that we can get closer. even if it has to happen in another life. Happiness is very much a stranger to me, but am I allowed to dream too? You are. I will never touch you. I swear it. But I would like to dream about it. I would like to imagine placing my hand upon your cheek. You can. Reach your hand out for me. Is she telling him to touch her? Gives me Twilight vibes. You ain't wrong! You ain't wrong! I see it! I really do see it! Oh no. I will imagine it too. Okay, so they're not actually touching. I'm imagining your fingers running through my hair, blushing up against my skin. I can feel your warmth. There was a wall between them. A wall they could not cross. Okay, they're gonna keep on doing things like that where they're doing the hover touch, and then one day one of them's gonna fuck up and get too close and they're actually gonna touch and the white hair girl's just gonna drop immediately. I'm already calling it because they're already, you know, doing air touch. The air touch is gonna lead them to actually touch each other and fucking kill by accident. For if they did, it would mean the white hair girl's death. Also, this is Twilight. When is Jacob coming? No matter how much they yearned for it, they could not touch one another, so they did so within the confines of their imagination, envisioning it in as much detail as they could manage. It was sad, but sweet, a moment of pristine, untainted beauty. Soon. Oh. Is Jacob coming soon? The two of them emanated serenity. As fitting as the word curse might have been to the mansion as a whole. At the top of the observation tower, a pure bond was being shared. A fleeting moment between a young man with a cursed touch and a kind-hearted, beautiful girl. The dream did not last long. No, for God is quite cruel. They simply wanted to be together. That was all. Their wish was hardly unreasonable. Only a quiet, peaceful life together. Yep. The witch's curse is coming. The witch's curse is gonna come. But misfortune was creeping ever nearer, its footsteps growing more and more pronounced. Oh no! Yep. I'm right, tragedy is coming. Next week, we're going to be experiencing some tragedy. Oh, Jacob is coming. We heard a knock on the door. Jacob is coming. What will Jacob look like? We'll find out next time. And yes, we have a save file that is not blank this time! Let's fucking go! Jacob. Why is it just Hakupo? Like, we keep on saying Jacob, but then all of a sudden, Hakupo just appears. Because Hakupo is very close to Jacob, if you think about it. Maybe instead of Jacob, we should say Hakup. Hakupito. Honestly, I wouldn't mind that. I would not mind that. But yeah, I think that's all the time I have left for this time, since I do, you know, have something at 1 p.m. and I want as much time as possible to get ready for that. Hakupina Colada. Hakupina Colada? Are you thinking the pina colada? Oh. Hakupina, yeah, Hakupina Colada.
Okay, okay.